from the Brewed Palate. I'm here with John Palmer, the famous home brewing role model for a lot of us out there here at, by the way, Gastrobrewery in Manhattan, New York. You know, now that you've had a whole weekend here in the city, you know, what's your picture of the New York homebrew scene?
It's a very active homebrew scene. You know, the brewers here are as passionate as anywhere I found in the world. The beers here are really interesting. Good variation of styles. Had a lot of really lovely beers and food pairings while I'm here. Loving the New York cuisine, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
All right, so you know, you wrote. When exactly did you first write the How to Brew book?
I started How to Brew in 1995. It took me until 1999 to really get the first edition done, and then I've updated it a couple times since then.
All right, so you know, now that it's been, you know, in this homebrewing scene for quite a few years, how do you see the influence of the book has, you know, grown over the years? You know?
It has. You know, honestly, I don't know that I can say for sure that I've had, you know, really big impact on homebrewing, but I know the American Homebrew Association kind of tracked their growth, coinciding with the growth in the sales of my book. You know, people in breweries are paying more attention to their water these days, which has always been kind of my specialty,
right.
Or you know, what I'm interested in as a brewer. How does this work? And so you know, the fact that you know you don't see water mentioned in many other texts, I think means that How to Brew has had that kind of effect on the country's microbrewers.
Well, you know, now that you know you've released a book on water itself, like, how do you feel that, you know, that book can also, you know, continue the line of your role within craft beer and homebrewing?
Yeah, well, hopefully the water book will make water more accessible, more understandable for a lot of people.
Right.
You know, I hope to get lots more questions from brewers, you know, interested in adjusting their water, interested in playing with their water and seeing the impact on their beers. You know, I think it's just going to lead to a general increase in the quality of beer across the country, which would be great to be a part of. I mean,
right. I mean, you know, for people getting into brewing, they might not necessarily, especially getting into home brewing, I should say,
right.
They might not necessarily look at their water as like one of those first few things to.
And really, they shouldn't.
You know, to you know, keep an eye out for. So when you do get to the point of, you know, in your home brewing experience, your home brewing journey, where you do want to kind of brew to style and adjust your water, not, you know, especially once you go all grain, what are some steps that home brewers can take to, you know, where do you start? You know, once I'll say, okay, maybe I should adjust my water just a little bit to brew X style. Okay,
well, there's a couple areas. One is understanding the sulfate to chloride ratio. That kind of sets the balance of the beer from, you know, dry and bitter to round and sweet. You know, sulfate to chloride. That's one area. That's one area you can make adjustments in. Another area is, you know, the total seasoning level of the beer that you're making. You know, Bohemian Pilsner is a very soft beer style. It's a large, you know, it's not a small beer. It's a bitter beer, but yet it's soft overall, and that's due to very low minerals in the water. You go to German Pilsners, there you have a medium level of minerals in the water, and you have, you know, a beer that's very similar to Bohemian Pils, but, you know, with sharper edges, you know, a little more, you know. And then you go from there to Dortmunder Export, very similar beer style, grain bill and yeast and hops, but there it's a much more assertive, heavier tasting beer due to the high level of minerals in the Dortmunder water. So, you know, that's the effect that total mineral levels can have on the beers. So those are two of the factors. The other factor is beer pH. Beer pH is where water gets a little more complicated.
Right.
And you have to look at residual alkalinity, your mash pH, and then measure your pHs as you brew. to get track it and then take control of it and try to direct it where you want it to go. For beginning brewers, I say that water is like number 5 on the priority list. First is sanitization. Second is fermentation temperature. Third is yeast pitching rate. Fourth is recipe proportions. 5 is water. So get the first 4 dialed in first before you start playing with the water and trying to adjust it too much. Brew with your water as is, and brew that beer first. Understand how it tastes, and then go back and say, okay, maybe this beer is too dull, not enough life to it. Maybe I should drop the pH a little bit, or maybe I'm not getting the hop character that I want, so maybe I need to raise the sulfate a little bit. Those kind of thoughts and directions on beer with water in mind can help a lot.
Right. So, and over time, you've developed a reputation for yourself within the craft beer and the homebrewing community. So, I know from talking to you, you're a very humble guy and very easygoing. But, what is it like for you to go, year round to CBC, to GABF, to all these different conferences, to coming to New York for the special weekend? What is it really like? What's your lifestyle like? Seeing that people respect you for your knowledge.
Well, it's, I kind of forget between events. I go home to my real life. It's nice. It's I think every home brewer loves to taste beer, loves to sample it, and talk to the brewers, share ideas about how that beer is created. What are your thoughts behind it? And that's what I enjoy doing too. So I guess my rock star status, if you will, enables that, and I can, where I'm comfortable going up to, microbrewers or brewers all over the country, and introducing myself and saying, hey, I'm really interested in this beer you've made, can tell me about it, and we can have those conversations. And I think really brewers all over the world are the same. They're passionate about beer. They're happy to talk with other beer enthusiasts. But I think a lot of other homebrewers are just a little shy about approaching these people, when the brewer's happy to talk about brewing. And so maybe I think that's what my experience has given me the confidence to go and have those conversations personally.
Right. So just to break it down a little bit, you have on your shirt Palmer Brewing Solutions Incorporated. So what type of stuff do you do on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, that keeps you involved, on a day-to-day basis with craft beer and homebrewing?
I write magazine articles. I consult with microbrewers on water and other issues, troubleshooting beer flavors, off flavors and such. I'm a member of the 2 brewing organizations, the 3, the Brewers Association, the American Society of Brewing Chemists, and the Master Brewers Association of the Americas. I'm a member of all 3 organizations. So I read the journals, look for topics that interest me in my pursuit of beer knowledge, brewing knowledge.
And you also are a big part of the Brewing Network podcast too.
Yeah, we do Brew Strong.
Brew Strong. So I listen to that one a lot. So now that we've talked a little bit about your influence and stuff that you've been bringing to the craft beer scene and the homebrewing scene, what's some stuff that's coming up?
Well, I'm going to have a line of extract beer kits I'm going to introduce this summer. I'm excited about that. I helped Lamont Company introduce their Brew Lab and Brew Lab Plus water analysis kits. And those are designed to help the brewer, take control of their brewing water, understand what their mineral parameters are, and then help them make adjustments to their water to brew better beer. I have some other product ideas coming up. I enjoy product development. I was a product development engineer previously, and so working with different brewery equipment manufacturers, companies, kind of lending the Palmer brand to some of their products to help promote them, to promote good products to the industry something I'm kind of working on now.
Right, so a lot of breweries have their philosophy, that they push in the craft beer community. Some are more humble about it, and some are more forward at it, like Stone Brewery. So like, what is like your philosophy on brewing? Especially home brewing, that you could give a little tidbit of advice to homebrewers to carry them through as they go on their journey.
Well, you can, a home brewer can brew any beer style at home, and you can brew it as well and sometimes even better than a commercial brewery can. Home brewers aren't really constrained by cost so much. Sometimes a professional brewer have better access to equipment and temperature control, but home brewers can control these things as well with enough investment and so on. And it's good brewing is something that everyone can master. If you're the kind of person that likes to cook and enjoys cooking, elaborate meals, then you're going to be the kind of person that enjoys creating elaborate beers and really experimenting and tweaking with it. So, don't be afraid to try. It's really not hard.
All right, so I guess we have a beer coming in. So
this is Drew's Milk Stout.
Okay.
All right, so I guess I'll wrap things up. Thanking John Paul, thanking you for visiting New York finally. And getting a nice view of our scene, and of course thank you for taking some of your time to talk to me. And look forward to seeing more of your influence in the homebrewing and craft beer scene.
Thank you, Barry. Cheers.
Cheers.